Okay, we want to call to order the July 28th, 2020 meeting of the Board of Managers for the LaPorte County Visitors, Convention and Visitors Bureau. We'll start with the roll call.
Kitty Kate, Pat Harris,
Here.
Devin Hastings, Adam Konechny,
Here.
Laura Krentz,
Here.
Sue Molinар, here, Mike Seitz,
Here.
Doug Waters,
Here.
Martha King is here.
Thank you for that. I'm just going to start the meeting today with just a brief comment about our current environment. Thank you all for coming out, knowing that we have an enemy out there that we're battling against, but knowing that when we do things properly, we can still have some type of normalcy, and battling with the coronavirus disease has been a challenge for our country and the world, actually. But we have to stay focused on those things that are most important, and when we continue to do that, we'll prevail. We've overcome a lot of things over the history of time, and this is another one of those things. So with that, I will begin with, do we have any public comments? If not, we'll go right down to our minutes. We need a motion for approval.
Motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
We have a motion by Doug Waters and a second by Sue Molinauer. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. For my report this month, I'm just going to give you an update on the Fairgrounds Management and Events Corporation. We have had meetings. A couple of them were Zoom meetings, but then we did have some in-person meetings where we did the proper social distancing and so forth, took all the safety precautions. And we were moving forward with the Fairgrounds Upkeep and maintenance and repairs. We've been putting monies into making sure fairgrounds stay in proper condition so that when we are able to host our events out there again, we won't have to struggle to get the fairgrounds up and running. The other thing is we've moved forward with also hiring a business manager for the property. And this is going to be the person that is going to oversee the entire complex, all the activities that go on out there, maintenance, and just the general administration of that facility. And on this Thursday, we're going to be meeting to finalize a compensation package to offer an individual that we've selected, and then we will make the announcement official. So that's my update. We'll move right down to our treasurer's report.
In front of you, you have the accounts payable and the payroll. This is approval of financial, encompasses all expenditures through June 2020, including all expenditures authorized by the emergency resolution number 2020-1 passed by the Board of Managers on April 9th of this year. So we have, through the period of June 20th, we have accounts payable of $51,251.99 and total payroll of $42,719.57 for a grand total of $93,971.56. For the period ending in May, accounts payable is $80,294.61, and total payroll of $42,938.63 for a grand total of $123,233.24. With that, I accept the motion for approval of the financials. Are there any questions?
Motion to approve the financials as stated.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Doug Waters and a second by Martha King. Discussions. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay.
Director of Operations.
Executive Director.
All right, then just a caveat on the treasurer's report. Nelson was going to interject something, but obviously didn't make it. So I think Mike made it real clear that they wanted it on the record that you all had a chance to review all of the documents that relate to all the approvals that we made during the time we weren't meeting. And Mike did that very well, I thought. So I just wanted to make sure that Nelson's part of this got on the record, that you all did have a chance to review all those and approve. I don't know how necessary that was, but he said he wanted to err on the side of caution, so we did that. But I can assure you that every bill that's in there was normal, there was nothing out of line, there was nothing that happened during this time that would have caused any concern. Okay? So, thanks, Mike, appreciate that report. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate a couple of our folks. We, as you all know, we participate every time we get a chance, any new staff or staff that have not been involved in leadership training and ongoing professional development, we make sure we can step them up and get that done. And we just had actually a total of 4 staff complete the training in the LaPorte County leadership. Chelsea, Brett, and Angela, all 3 just graduated, I believe, right? Chelsea, Brett, and Angela, congratulations, guys, great job. And Dale, did you finish the course at Purdue, or is that ongoing?
I finished it, but we haven't had a graduation. It's next month.
Next month, got it, yeah. Dale took the course out at Purdue. And congratulations, great job, guys. And we're going to continue to enroll staff in professional development as needed, and we think that's great for the county and certainly great for the organization.
I didn't know they graduated people from Purdue.
Hey. Hey.
So, a lot of things have happened, Court, since you all were here. You can see the agenda we've changed. We've changed it to meet the way we're operating now. The reports are being given different today, and they will be for the rest of this year at least. And I'm excited to say that we're pleasantly happy that Doug learned how to turn off his phone.
I'm getting there.
We're real happy with the way we've been able to adjust everything here, and a lot of new things have come up. So with that, let's just give you a heads up on a couple things. Jane Daly, our Community Relations Director, is working on her retirement date. She's informed us that she is going to be retiring. We haven't set an exact date, but it's pointing towards the end of the year. So great for Jane. She's had a fantastic career here. We're hoping she can take these next 5 months as kind of a victory lap, kind of a Michael Jordan tour around the county and high five all the way around and get all the accolades she deserves. She's done a great job for us.
Yeah.
So we're really happy with that. So when that happens, that opens up opportunities. We know with change comes opportunities. So with that, we've been able to promote Dale Cooper to the new Community Relations Director. Okay? Dale will officially start those roles when Jane leaves. They're shadowing now, working together. Dale's transitioning out of her formal job as we moved 2 or 3 people around. So that worked out really well for both of them, of course. And then that allowed us to look at the way we do things here and make some changes. And Scott Miller, Scott's right. Scott, who you don't see a lot because he runs the toll road for us, but he does have the opportunity now, especially with things a little different on the toll road, to spend some more time in here. So Scott's been promoted to the Supervisor of the Visitor Center. He's handling everything from just staying on top of the facility, the vehicles, everything that's happened out there, scheduling the front desk, a lot of what Dale was doing before, because she'll be moving on into the community relations. So that's worked out really well. So a couple people got to move up, and we're real happy about that. And this allowed for us then, with Jane leaving, to bring on Katie Dermody. Katie's right here. Katie's a graduate of Purdue Northwest. She graduated in hospitality tourism management. So we're bringing on a new fresh face, an industry face, that I think is really exciting for us is, we talk about succession and making sure we're doing the right things with staffing. It's exciting to bring on an industry person, somebody's going to give a new perspective. Katie has been shadowing everybody, spending time. We're really lucky that we have a situation here where we can afford to do that. She'll spend a few days with this staff and all of us. So she's getting a really broad picture of what we do. And so welcome, Katie, and we're glad to have you. Yeah, it's just awesome. I can state the obvious to you that things are upside down, especially nationally. Nationally, we're 43% down in spending, folks are on tourism. That results to about $505 billion annually that's not getting spent in tourism on a national level. Hotel occupancy is an all-time low nationally. I mean, I'm stating the obvious. Domestic travel is down, depends on who you ask, anywhere from 30 to 40%. International travel, 60 to 70% down. And if you think international travel, you think, well, maybe that doesn't affect us. That's a huge factor for us. We have a lot of folks that visit our shopping malls that come from the Asian community that travel internationally. That's a huge, huge part of what they do there at Freedom Mountains. There's a factor in blue chip as well with international travel. So it's a big deal. But I can say, having said that, we came through this period so far locally fairly well. We've got some interesting numbers. I gave you a few updates via email last week, so we didn't spend a lot of time on it today. And I'm not going to repeat what I sent you out, but I can say this, that the new structure that we formed, I think, allowed us to really get our hands around the important things and what we need to do here. And it's kind of like going back and starting over almost. We were already pretty good at working remotely. We did that fairly well. And that was just an easy transition for us because just in this industry, I've always felt like that should be something we should be doing all the time. And so now we just moved into that, and we learned a lot of these meetings that we were traveling to Elkhart or Indianapolis, different places, but we won't be doing that. We'll be doing like other folks. They're learning to make a new normal really with that, and that's working really well. But the early results of these three pillars that we've put together are very promising. I have to tell you, very promising. To that effect, Innkeeper's Tax, for example, because of the work that Amy and Chelsea and a couple others have been doing on vacation rentals for a long time, Rick, we saw a pretty little, I don't want to say an increase, but the law changed last July, and we didn't drop off a lot. It's probably the best way to put it in vacation rentals. It seems like there was a lot of folks still renting in Long Beach and Beach Walk and our vacation rentals, and we're getting all that money because the law changed, and because our staff's staying on top of it, and that's showing in our numbers. Amy's going to give an actual hotel report under that committee, but pleasantly surprised with the way that came through. The blue chip numbers, of course, are what they are. We're dealing with a period where they were completely shut down. But once again, they're back up now, and the hotel is running. Angie's going to give you a report on that. But the hotel is, I think Brenda's words were last Thursday on our county report, if she could get the help, she would have 100% occupancy on both sides, the new and the old, if we could get the employees to staff. I don't want to steal Amy's thunder, but that's a good sign for us. So we're doing relatively well on our income side, considering everything. In fact, we're doing way better than I thought we would. Now we've got a couple really tough months coming up. By that I mean trying to track on last year's numbers. Last year's July and August and September we set records. The whole boat race thing every August has just been, we're not going to get that this year. But because of everything I just told you, I think we're still going to hang on to the level that's going to allow us to move into a decent budget cycle when we move into our 21 budget. I really do. I feel confident. But we're keeping our fingers crossed on how that goes. The other thing that helped us tremendously was the work Gail did on getting the PPP dollars and a few other dollars through some subsidies that we've worked on to help get us through this, okay? And as you all saw in the report, I think I sent you the both updates, that has been remedied now, it's been paid off, we've been relieved of that. So the full PPP loan that we received has been paid back and done. And Gail can talk about that if you like, and if there's any questions, we'll be glad to go over that with you. But that was huge in helping keep us on track, and it was a lot of work, I want to tell you. And a couple other things that we added to that, we've been able to do some upgrading of a few pieces of equipment to let us work from home, working on our front doors a little bit, and all this is due to some money that Gail's worked on to help us bring in. So we're proud of what everybody's done under these three pillars. And so now what we're going to do is I've talked about operation finances. Linda is going to talk to you about community recovery, and Amy's going to talk to you about heads and beds, and Dale and Rick are going to help them respectively, I believe. So Linda, I think you're up.
Okay. Once again, it's good to see everybody back in person, and I think everybody can hear me. As Jack said, one of the pillars was the Community Recovery Committee, and those people on that committee are Dale Cooper, Amy Riley, Angela Rose, and Katie Dermandy, and Jane Daly. And every week we would do a call-in remotely and start setting up some guidelines and so on as far as reaching out to our partners. We kind of divided who was going to call who. Certain questions were asked. Could we give them a copy of the Hoosier Hospitality Promise that they could place in their buildings? This was for restaurants and hotels, and the majority of them were glad to do that. And pretty much comes down from the state, but basically says that we're doing the proper procedures as far as social distancing, sanitation, and wearing masks. And that's worked out really well. So every week we would kind of monitor who else we need to reach out to. And so that first, I call it phase one, we've gotten through, and we'll hear some really good updates on when Dale speaks. So now we're in phase two, where we're reaching out to the other partners that we didn't touch base with originally, and we've split up the team again as far as who's contacting. And one of the things that I think we all saw was that during devastating times that we are in, that our partners appreciated a phone call and someone just asking, how are you doing? Is there anything we can do for you, etc. And with those positive responses, Dale has been able to do some really great things, once again, that she'll talk about. So this community recovery team, basically, our responsibility was reaching out to our partners and businesses, sending them information if they didn't have it. And one of the things that I'll just hand out so that you can just, it kind of sums everything up as far as what we did in the first phase of our reporting. And I just made a few copies, but it just kind of just shows the layers of how we went and started calling and so on. And we went from the different businesses, the farms, etc., restaurants, and just really had a really great response. And we're continuing this on. We were meeting every week via Zoom meetings, and now that we're back, we're having them bi-weekly here at the conference room, and through that we're talking back and forth to each other and giving updates and so on. One of the other things that pulled into all of this was we had the Hoosier Hospitality Promise, but we also had the Hoosier by Choice. So we reached out to several partners, and this is a program, a campaign from the state, and gave different partners, and they only wanted 2, but I think we might have stretched it a little. And actually they did a video of themselves, talked about their business and so on, and at the end they said, I'm a Hoosier by choice. So this business left another state, came here, had their family and their business, and so we included them in that as well. We're not sure when that's going to come up yet, but a lot of the businesses were real excited that we were able to include them, and the videos were really great. So those are just some of the other things that came up, as well as, and I'll just say real quickly, through the Economic Development Corporation of Michigan City, they had a business recovery, and a lot of the businesses in Michigan City were all part of that call, and giving updates on what they do, such as United Way, Work One, Horizon Bank, and the CDB was also part of that. So we were able to, talk about, what we're doing and how we're reaching out into the community and trying to make things a little bit better and seeing what we can do. I do have to say, in just hearing a lot of the comments, that it was really gratifying to hear. You know about United Way and you know about other organizations, but to actually hear as far as what they're doing and how they're reaching out, it felt good as representing the CBB to be part of that and just have a chance to hear that. But I think it also let them know a lot about what we do and so on in a group call. So that was one of the other parts that I thought was really great. Now I'm going to have Dale Cooper step up and talk about some of the other things that we're doing on our recovery team.
We have a wonderful partnership with WIMS Radio, and I was able to go out and visit nearly 50 different business locations in LaPorte County and schedule them to call in to the radio station on Mondays and Thursdays, 2 or 3, starting at 7:15, 7:20, and 7:25. So they've been doing that for the last month, and they've been able to talk about they're open and come in, and it's a really, really great partnership, and they've appreciated it. One other thing that I've been able to do with NIPSCO is a program called Believing It's Better, and I was nominated for this program. They called me, they interviewed me, and they chose me, and I thought, pass it around, I thought that it was just going to be on their website, but they ended up making it into a commercial, and it's been shown all over Northwest Indiana, and it's on YouTube. It actually went viral. I know it's on Channel 22, it's on the Weather Channel as well. And then they made it into a flyer, and they put it into NIPSCO's bill, and they're sending that out as well. So, and it was an all-day shoot. They sent about 100 people to film it over a day, and it's turned out to be kind of a wonderful promotion for us.
Do you think this will lead to further acting possibilities in your...
Absolutely not. It's over, but I was really, really honored to be chosen for that, so that's it.
Okay,
Okay, so I'm chairing the Hotel Recovery Committee, and our committee consists of Brett, Chelsea, Rick, and Katie. And we did a lot of the same things. I won't repeat what Linda said, but we worked closely together and did a lot of the same things as far as calling and checking on the PPE and all that. So that was kind of our initial phases, and what we've done, what we've kind of morphed into now is we are making weekly calls, and we're checking on occupancy, which we're tracking, and we will send that to you guys via email rather than trying to go through all of those numbers. But like Jack said, they're more impressive than this national averages show, so that's a good thing. We're hoping that trends keeps trending upward. We're also doing in-person visits now. We are planning 2 upcoming Zoom calls for some training with our hotels. We're working with them to create and promote packages. We also, like Dale said, we're offering our free WIMS spots to the hotels as well. We created a flyer for indoor-outdoor activities that are currently open so that they can share with their guests. I'm going to have Rick in a minute speak to the NSA BPA and the Dunes volleyball. Of course, youth sports is a huge traffic driver, so we're continually working on that. I'll let him talk about that in just a second. We're also working with NITDC. Again, you guys know they're very great partners of ours. They have listed all our hotels on TV monitors throughout all the toll road plazas. That's usually a pay-to-play thing, but they're doing that for free, offering that through these times, which is great. We've also partnered with them on a digital campaign. It's basically we're featuring 10 nearby safety activities and attractions, and that's running June 24th through October. So again, we're hoping that helps drive traffic to our hotels in our area. We want people here spending money. And then they're writing 10 blogs for us for our website. So these are just some things that we've been working on. We meet weekly, and we're continually just trying to think of ideas and ways to get people to come here and travel safely to our area. Drive heads and beds, our #1 priority. So I'll let Rick take over on the sports thing real quick.
Well, even before the sports, I think the largest thing we're taking away from what's happened in the last 4 or 5 months is the constant contact that we've had with all the hotels. They appreciate us reaching out to them in a way that we've never been able to do that. We spent a lot of time talking them off the fence, you know. It seems like every day was bringing bad news, and just for us to be able to contact them, we see that appreciation. So, but from a sports standpoint, you know, my job's conventions in sports, and it seemed like from March 17th, every event that I was involved with was canceled. So I was like a fish out of water. And the good news is that NSA, which is the National Softball Association, and BPA, Baseball Players Association, have picked up their schedules, and so they'll continue to play at Patriot Park throughout the end of October. And that's important because we have an agreement with them to make sure that all of those incoming groups stay in LaPorte County hotels to keep them from going, you know, to Michigan or to Porter County. So that continues to do well. Jack and I actually have a meeting tomorrow afternoon with the new superintendent of the Michigan City Park Department to go over a few things. But that's going to continue to flourish to the end of October. And then the Dunes volleyball was probably hit the hardest in LaPorte. If you remember, we have a facility there that we work with. March 17th, they ran into the buzzsaw. Saw a couple of events after that date go down, which didn't happen. But I talked with Rick Ashmore, and starting at the end of August, September, October, into November, they're going to be doing some, again, this is contingent upon high school, but it's not going to be a lot of out-of-town folks coming in, but they will start getting back to normal with some high school volleyball. So there's some updrive there, yeah, you bet.
That anything?
Yep.
Great, so I'll just conclude by saying, as Amy closed out, she said this is our #1 priority. We've went back to the basics here, and we've seen some success. So we're going to stay right in this lane for quite a while, because that does everything. It gives us money to do everything that we want to do moving forward. We're involved in several projects in LaPorte, Michigan City, and we're going to be stepping up our involvement with the county as the new management group comes together. I think that's going to be something you're going to see. I'm going to reflect on my budget that I present to you all for approval, because that's something a long time coming, and that's going to be a real dollar generator for us if that's successful. So we probably should be a huge part in that. And the heads and beds is going to allow us to do that and everything else that we do. So we're scratching for every room. I mean, we're clawing for every room we can get. Every game. A good example, when they first opened up on June 14th, the tournaments that were coming in, the softball tournaments, would normally, this level tournament would bring 20, 25 teams. 85 teams were coming in. Okay, we didn't have field space. I actually spent more time arguing with our two respective park departments, who are great people, but we literally are bumping heads for every day we can get a field. Don't knock us off any, we need everyone, because we're filling them all as fast as we can with these tournaments. People want to come. Youth sports did this in 2008, you know, and they're doing it again now. They're sustaining, people want to do that. So we're grabbing a hold of that and just clawing our way back with that. So Pat, that's it for my report.
Great. Thank you, Jack. Okay. Anybody have any questions about all of that? Okay. Is there any unfinished business? Anybody wants? We don't have any on the schedule, so. New business, I'm going to turn this back over to Jack. I don't know if you want to
Sure,
go over
I'll be glad to. Thanks, Pat. what you see here is simply put, a resolution that will show that LaPorte County, and specifically the CBD, is going to be out front on the discussion with regards to diversity and inclusion. If anybody should be leading the way in this discussion, it should be us. Okay? We need to show that we're a welcoming, friendly community, and we're open to everyone. And by the way, this was not conceived after those ill-advised remarks at the LaPorte City Council. This had nothing to do with that. I requested this of Nelson way ahead of that. Nelson put this together, and I actually talked to Pat about it, and she gave me the nod to go ahead with this. But this was the staff. This was driven by me and the staff. So we're happy to present it. I'm not going to read it. You've all had it for a week or two. Be glad to go over any questions or anything, but it's very clear. It's very, and I just hope that other folks in the community would show the kind of leadership we are and step up and do this thing. And that's what makes our community and our county great. So if it's okay with you, Pat, if you could put it before the board body, I would really appreciate it.
Okay, and the resolution is in your packet. I don't know if you brought it with you or not, but it is in your packet. If you don't have any questions, like Jack said, you've had it for a little while, so hopefully you've had a chance to look at it. What I'd like to do today is just move forward with the motion to approve this and put it on the record.
Motion to approve resolution 2020-2.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Doug Waters, Mr. Waters, and a second by Martha King to accept the resolution as presented. Are there any other discussions? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And thank you, Jack, for doing that. I think it's very important, as Jack said, to be out front in this effort to make sure people around the world know that we are a welcoming community. That's very important. We want to, I know I'm kind of repeating what you're saying, but I think it's worth repeating. I think it's worth having emphasis placed on it. Okay. Hey, Angie, you heard Lucha. They flying around here like crazy today, right? Now we have a chance to have your input. How's Blue Chip doing?
We are doing well. Great. Thank you for passing that resolution. That's very key to the convention meetings industry. Yes, my world is director of sales, one of the largest vet centers here in Northwest Indiana. Yes, it's dismal. We have taken quite a bit of hits, but I hope we have stopped the hemorrhaging, and I think we're trying to hang on there. But that's key. That if we get past the first hurdle, whether the group is comfortable in coming, then we get the roadblocks of, what's our community like? Are there any issues with that, with protesters and riots and all of that? So thank you very much. It's key. We did welcome our first group last week, Indiana School Resource Officers Association. If you drove by Blue Chip last week over the bridge and the construction and all of that stuff, we had about 100 police cars out there. These are all of the policemen that keep our schools safe, and obviously they've gone through quite a big change, what schools are going to be open or not, and still making those decisions. So it was just great. It was great to be back in the swing of things and having some banquet events again and having our meeting rooms used. And but definitely mathematically, logistically challenging, trying to keep up the social distancing. My ballroom of Stardust that's beautifully renovated that can hold 900 people, and now is a max of 250. Obviously under the state guidelines now with the phase 4.5. So 250 or less is what we can do. The breakouts and such, it's nice to see that everybody's complying with the social distancing, because obviously that's important. Brenda is doing a great job in maintaining, boy gaming, especially as far as maintaining, unfortunately we did have to slowly reopen, so we don't have a lot of our team members back, but about just over 600 we have now. And I think there are 2 cases that we have exposure of COVID. So really remarkable for a facility our size and all of the areas that they come in. We have employees that live in Michigan all the way, across over in Rolling Prairie, New Prairie, and even south into Lake County. So pretty spectacular that we're able to maintain ourselves and do the the things necessary in order to kind of keep it a safe place to come and enjoy and have an event and be entertained. As the IGC has the casino under phase one, I'm sure you guys all know this. So we're still kind of operating under two different entities. Under my world, again, I can go 4.5 at 250 or less, but we're still limited as far as opening up the Blue Chip Tower. Our restaurants are still limited to opening. We're hoping to open up Spa Tower, but a lot of that stuff isn't just executive order, it's staffing. So as we were closed, and I certainly too myself enjoy that stimulus kicker that we got in our unemployment. We have a lot of team members that's the most money they've seen in quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're choosing to stay home. So just, we have jobs, we have opportunities. Now that the, being a union, we've had to formally go through this process of letting go employees and so forth in their classifications, but they can now be moved into a different classification for some opportunities. So we may not be opening, ballet is completely closed right now, but those employees now we can get them into maybe food and beverage or custodians or some areas. So again, it's a scary number, but we're hoping we're going to be able to call everybody back in just different positions. And then mid-August, we're hoping to bring back Spa Blue, and then obviously with the Blue Chip Tower and get that open. So it's just still shaky ground, but a lot of external factors and internal factors are preventing us from just going back to normal. But for this, and Boy Gang is definitely, comfortable with the baby steps that we're making and just providing great leadership. The big thing is, as far as with our neighboring areas, obviously Michigan and Chicago, and respectfully with Mayor Lightfoot saying that they're going to quarantine anyone that comes to Indiana, they can't meet more than 50 people. So guess where we're getting inquiry calls? We have 2 weddings that just booked for a Labor Day weekend. They still want to live, they still want to hold conferences. I've got the Illinois Funeral Directors Association coming in at the end of August. They cannot, they want to operate and they cannot not have it. They're willing to travel 30 miles out of the city. Why not to do that, to come here? So this is what's so important with the work that you all are doing and making the community, it's beautiful to have the beach area, but they don't necessarily come in and go to the beach. They just want to come and see the attractions. And again, not all stay at Blue Chip. They have Indiana School Resource Officers. We had about 30 rooms around the area that they did stay elsewhere. So anyway, so that's exciting. So we're seeing a shift in business. It's we just got a call for a Christmas party for 600 people from Niles, Michigan. So again, doesn't mean that we're closed. We're open, and now try to spread the word to the other states around us that we can definitely take their events and do things. Going into 2021, a lot of things have just been pushed back to 2021. So what we were looking for, a great solid 2020 this year, at least we're able to recoup about 85% of that and push it into 2021. So really appreciate the support. Obviously working with the CBB and working with those subsidies that we have in order to keep them here, keep them contracted with us, not choose to go down to Indy or Fort Wayne, French Lick. I mean, there are some crazy incentives to get that group business out in those areas that are very remote, very rural, and trying to get them to go make their choice. So instead of canceling their contracts, I'm trying to shift those contracts and keep that going. So again, it's adjusting. It's just kind of managing the business at hand, but people understand. I mean, it just casino folks are having a hard time coming to understand with the mask, but they are being well received, being all down smoking property though. So definitely different.
Well, thank you. We know that Blue Chip is a very important part of our community. Since its beginning, it's been a positive asset for our community. So we appreciate your work, and I know our team loves you guys, so they'll keep working with you.
Thank you.
All righty. Brett, Angela, how's downtown LaPorte doing?
I'll go first, because Angela's got a lot more than I do.
Yeah, I see this document here, and I'm like, wow.
Basically, with Civic Auditorium, we faced a lot of the same issues as Blue Chip when it comes to holding conventions, et cetera, and weddings. We've had multiple cancellations. I'd say we've had 12 to 15 events that we've lost. We try to reshuffle some things right now, but the issue with that is our building usually is booked every weekend that it's available due to our limited HVAC capabilities in the summer with the main level. So some of the business we just won't be able to recoup, but we're doing the best we can. One of the great things about a building like that, and the Fox family, when they donated it to the city in 1930, it was built basically for public use, okay? And a lot of people don't realize how progressive the Fox family was, like in the deed of the gift to the city, specifically talked about providing recreational and physical activity for women at least one day a week, and public showers and things of that nature. Well, we've kind of come back to the roots of what that building was meant for with this pandemic. One of the things we've done great with is we've been hosting Red Cross blood drives because we have the room and the capacity to allow great social distancing. One of the things between the mayor and the State Department of Health, Healthcare Foundation of LaPorte, and county, including Larry Butcher's done a wonderful job with this, and Tony Mancuso. We've been providing free COVID testing at an indoor location, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, the month of July. There's talks right now trying to get that extended into August. They've been testing over 200 people a day, Monday through Friday right now. It's in the lower level. The entrance is off of Plain Street. They do take a break from 12 to 12:30 and 4:30 to 5. They are accepting walk-ins, and it is free. You get your results in about 36 hours, roughly. I've actually taken advantage of that from when we traveled for our honeymoon. I went in and got a test just to be safe. I had my results, took it Monday late morning, Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. I already had it back. So it's a great use. The other things we've done, like I mentioned, we've held 8 to 12 blood drives with Red Cross. We'll be hosting more in the month of August. Feedindiana.org is taking advantage of our parking lot. We have 2 more giveaways that are going on August 4th and August 18th. They begin at 10 a.m. They'll be in our south lot off of Tecumseh Street. What's great about that is there's no requirements, no location checks, anything like that. Lisa Pierzakowski, the Center Township trustee, has set that up, and it's a great situation. They basically bring in a semi-truck with pallets of food. It's all car. You stay in your car, you pull up, each car gets a basket or a box. And that's just the way they do it. It works really well. The lines are quite extraordinary. I've seen them in action. They empty that semi within 2 hours. A lot of times it doesn't take that long. So there's definitely a need for it. And we're excited that we've had these things. We're sad that we're losing some of our staples. I'm sure everyone's heard Hoosier Star is going to be virtual this year. So we won't have that activity the second Saturday of September. I know we've had some discussions with the Symphony on other events that we're crossing our fingers that things may loosen up for November and December, but we're all a little apprehensive of which way that's going to go. We do have several weddings booked. We get back in the swing again later this month. We had a flood of calls March and April looking to reschedule into January and that, but I have noticed that slowed down a bit lately. I'm sure people are just trying to feel this out. And I know in my case and several others, once you reschedule 2 or 3 times, you kind of lose that steam. So it's been a challenge, but we're excited. We think we have the team to get through this. We've transitioned. A lot of our staff has pitched in and helped with the park department, and we've been mowing lawns throughout the city. For the, I shouldn't say lawns, I'm sorry, parks. We've been mowing parks. We've taken on 4 extra parks the civic staff has. It's a team effort in LaPorte, and we feel like we're getting the job done. So we're very excited about that. When it comes to events, I guess, there was discussion of us doing the Lake Fest 2020 for August. We put that on the back burner. That's gonna, we'll revisit that hopefully for next August. And we are still looking to do things, but we're trying to be responsible at the same time.
Okay. Angela?
Can't see that I'm smiling. So I gave you guys a handout because I thought that was a good visual way of you guys to just kind of see some of the main things that we've been working on over in LaPorte. We haven't really slowed down, we just kind of are doing things a different way. The first few weeks of COVID, we visited and called almost all of our downtown businesses. Did some really nice video spotlights called Open for Business with the mayor, just highlighting when people were reopening, these are the different precautions they had in place. These are the specials, you can feel safe coming in and just trying to support our downtown businesses. Sunflower Fair was canceled along with Niagara, which was disappointing, especially after all the work that we put into it. But it was a good call for that event that attracts probably tens of thousands of people. Moving forward, we are looking to still do the downtown cookie walk that has been going on for a number of years. Just trying to reevaluate and do things a little bit differently, having cookies that are in wrappers or something like that, just so that people aren't touching the actual cookies. Still discussing Santa Parade, if we can have that or not at the end of the year. I'm really hoping we do, because that's a great thing to support our local businesses, especially on the Shop Small Saturday. I have been working on the farmers market. This is my first year as one of the co-managers. We've actually been growing the market this year. We've had to turn people away the last couple of weeks because it's been so full. So we're looking at different ways of expanding the market. We actually have Fair Oaks Farms will be there this Saturday if you guys are interested. They have a calf and a cow that you can meet. Should be a good time. Then we have a number of new vendors that have never been to the market that we're cycling in and out just to help support our local artisans, especially with all the festivals being canceled. I know there's a lot more that I'm doing. It's hard to keep track of all of it sometimes. So if you guys have any specific questions about anything that's on the paper, just let me know. I'd love to answer your questions.
Okay, so that's quite an impressive list. And we thank you for putting that effort into this wonderful county. Do we have any board comments at this time? I would just like to announce that we are holding our Michigan City citywide back to school rally on August 8th. It is going to be a drive up this year. We're not going to do all the festive events and activities that we usually have at the rally. The main focus will be to make sure the families, and we're anticipating more families this year because of COVID-19 situation. We're anticipating more families are going to need some assistance. So the main focus is to make sure they get the backpacks for the students. I don't know what this situation is going to be, but I'm sure these students, regardless if they're in school or they're at home doing the virtual learning, then they're still going to need those supplies. So we are doing it as a drive up. It's going to be held this year at the Michigan City High School, and it's from 10 to 2 on Saturday, August 8th. If any of you all want to volunteer to help out, it's going to be quite interesting with something different for us. So we're just hoping for a good weather day on that day. Anyone have anything else?
Did we dissolve the legislative committee?
Well, it's kind of on pause right now. Yeah, and we took it off the agenda because it's kind of on pause. The NITDC fair share efforts are going to kind of morph over and take that over eventually, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, just like there is a lot of other things, it just went on pause.
Good. I got tired of being a committee of one.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, hearing none, our next meeting is on August 25th. So y'all have a safe month and just keep your head up and keep barreling forward.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you, Pam.
Meeting is adjourned.
Thanks for